Two mugs in a workshop.
Previously on Two Mugs in a Workshop. We took a huge gamble when we bought this BMW G310R off eBay. Untried, untested and with no recorded mileage. We repaired the issues that had beaten the seller. Upgraded the BMW software.
Update's now running, so you can see the little ticks there.
And discovered the mileage on the BMW.
So I've just dropped the bike off for the MOT. I'm coming in the workshop, you see the bike's just sitting there at the moment, so we can't actually jack it up. I did say we're not bike people. I need to get myself some equipment to get that rear wheel off the floor. I've ordered the cush to go in the rear cush drive and a new sprocket for the rear as well before we take it off to the dealer to have a look at. My neighbour Nigel actually, I'm going to walk. I come into the reception. I've left it in our reception area at the moment. Got this hydraulic lift for it, but the plates here, this was for a pan-European, and these plates don't quite fit the sump on my bike. And also the balance of the bike's not particularly good so when it's on it, so it'll need strapping down or something. Okay, Mark's got the E46 running. So yeah, I think I'm gonna have to modify that plate a little bit. We might use that, or I might just buy a paddock stand. There's some fairly reasonably priced paddock stands actually. They're only about 40 quid or so. So I might just order one of those in and get that just to get the back wheel up off the floor, because unfortunately BMW didn't put a centre stand on the bike. Hi, it's Ian at Two Mugs in the Workshop again. We've got a delivery to the workshop. This big box here, which you'll soon find out what's in there. And this delivery from BMW, these parts, which will allow us to carry on with the BMW G310R project that we've got on the go. Sorry it's been a little while for the updates, but as I said in the previous video, we're not really bike guys. This is all a first time type experience and we've had to wait for things to arrive. Meanwhile, Mark's cracking on with the real work over there. While he puts his tools away and actually does some paint customer work, I'll have some fun. Hey Mark, what do you think of all this videoing around the workshop?
I don't know. I'll never make a movie star. I've never been a mechanic, so I'll never make a movie star.
There we go. We've actually got a pair of paddock stands, front and rear, from Demon Tweeks. They're called Warrior. This is the rear one, which the rear swing arm will sit on. And this one, decided to upgrade slightly and go for a front headstand. So the idea is that this pin here sits underneath the yoke at the front of the bike and will securely hold the front of the bike off the floor whilst we've got the rear paddock stand on the bike. So the next thing is, let's see if we put it together right, because we didn't get any instructions. That's the only thing that Demon Tweeks could improve on this. Some instructions. It wasn't too difficult to work out though, although I must say this one's a little bit mind-boggling in how it's actually going to work. But let's find out. Okay, so Mark's got the bike, nice and safe and secure. Gonna lift it off the back stand.
Oops, camera stopped recording. Never mind, in a few minutes we're going to show you the bike sitting on the rear swing arm. It really couldn't be easier to use that rear paddock stand.
Okay, so the bike's up on the rear stand. On the front stand, this Warrior that Ian's bought for the bike, there's a little bung in the middle of the yokes. You take the bung out on the stand, there's like a pin that locates in the yoke. So you'll bring it to the front of the vehicle. You'll locate it.
Yeah,
Okay, again, get somebody just to hold the bike stable, and then it's just basically lever down, push the bike up. So it gives you access to change wheels, brakes, sprockets, anything like that, and general maintenance on the bike is a lot easier.
Okay, just a little close up for you, just so you can appreciate how these really work. You can see on the BMW G310R, right underneath the yoke there, underneath the head, we've got that pin, which is where my finger is. Okay, on these it's 17mm pin. The kit comes supplied with a whole bunch of different sizes actually. It's quite good, and as you saw from the previous video, really easy to get it on the stand. Once it's up there, it seems really stable as well. So moving over to the rear paddock stand on this, because one thing BMW didn't make easy really is to get these things off the floor at the rear. But this stand's really nice. It just sits on the rear swing arm, and these pins are sprung loaded. So get the one side in, depress the other one, push it in a little bit so it springs back against the swing arm, and then simply, with the help of a colleague, make sure you don't drop your bike, just lift it up. And as you can see, I mean, that's pretty stable. Okay, so really easy. Sorry if we're teaching to suck eggs, guys, but I really am quite impressed with these stands. In the UK, supplied by Demon Tweeks. They are made out in China. I suspect that they're available with other brands on as well, to be honest, but I paid £75 for the pair, so that was for the rear stand and the front stand. And of course, that means now that we can get on and do the cush on the back and change the sprocket as well. This leads nicely into the next part of the project. Here are the parts that also arrived from BMW. Rear sprocket, as you can see, genuine parts. Some of the nuts, nylock nuts to attach the sprocket to the sprocket carrier, and these, which are the rubbers for the cushion. There's 3 of those. Okay, so the general idea is that the cush sits inside the hub of the rear wheel, so you can imagine this rubber inside the center of the wheel. And what it does is it acts as effectively like a little mini shock absorber. You can see it's flexible and it's pliable. And when the rear sprocket starts to turn on the bike, it allows the bike to take up the kind of the slack on it. It's a bit like a prop shaft coupling on a car. They're usually made out of a rubbery type of compound, and as the prop shaft twists and the torque is applied, it allows the torque to be transferred nice and evenly. And that's exactly what we get on the motorbike. On the MOT, they did put an advisory on the cush drive. There's just a little bit of slack in it, and you can feel it actually on the power uptake. You can feel a bit of a slap is how it feels as you're changing gear. So really, really cheap. I mean, I think each of those rubbers from BMW, £8 each. I think everything combined, so for the rear sprocket, the rubbers and the nut, was about £40. So I mean, these bikes are super cheap to maintain as well. Keep watching.